I am DM Zone. This is the Gamers Oasis. We're going to do our 15 PED hunt with a maze hammer. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and talk real quickly about the many different things that have been going on. This hunt was a different hunt. It got me a lot of extra stuff. I picked up let me look real quick here. Oh yes, I picked up Brawler 1, 2, and 3. Apparently, I don't have the second card. I don't know what happened there, or maybe I guess that mislabeled. I don't know. Let me take a look real quick. Nope. Somehow I missed 2. I got 1 and 3. Also, I picked up one hand clubber 3 and 4. And I picked up two hand clubber 3 and 4. And I picked up the whipper profession. So I got that to level 3. That just gives you an idea of the stuff that we have in this. This hunt, I'm just going to give you a forewarning. It was a little bit of a loss, but I think that's because so much of this was skills. But there's still a lot going on here. I don't know. I keep getting a lot of this blue steel paint, and I want to know what you guys think I should dye with this blue steel paint. I have several vehicles. I've got a couple more. If you saw my last week's video on Wednesday, came out a little after Wednesday. I think it came out on Thursday. I actually have completed the mentorship program, which I had not done at this point in time. But it gives you an Explorer MK1. My thought is that'd be kind of a cool, I'm not going to drive that vehicle into the ground, probably going to keep it forever. That might be a cool vehicle if I can dye it that blue steel. Should I do something like that, or should I do something more like the original hovercraft I got when I went to Arcadia, or maybe my Valkyrie that I drove when I was in Cali? Is there something, or should I buy something specific? Because you guys know that vehicle looks exceptionally cool with that type of coloration. Alright, so now that I kind of got that housekeeping out of the way with that type of stuff. Oh, talk about housekeeping. I post a little bit over on Facebook. Go check me out there. You can see some of my painting videos there. I have not done a video yet or recent video for the painting channel I do. However, I have a really cool idea. I think the idea I'm going to do is my daughter, who is my stepdaughter. I don't really talk a whole lot about that distinction. She's almost a teen. We'll go with that as far as description. She was asking me if I could show her how to paint because she saw some of my painting stuff and saw my miniatures that had been painted. And I told her, yeah, I could do that. But I thought, what would be a cool way to do it is maybe do it in a video, and that would be like how I do my painted tutorials. And the perspective would be, this is me painting, trying to teach my daughter how to paint. And if this young person could learn how to paint from it, then maybe we'd reach a very beginner type things, and then maybe in a couple of years when she's older I can do a little bit more of an intermediate level and that type of thing. Anyway, it's just a thought. That's something I'd be doing on that channel, and then you guys would just see the stuff when I get done painting it, maybe over here on occasion. Not to take up too much time away from the D&D and the video game like Entropia Universe and whatever other video games I'm doing. Okay guys, so I wanted to go ahead and talk real quickly about the many things I'm trying to do here. You'll notice behind me the setup's a little bit different. 3 of my 10-gallon tanks are actually missing. They're not totally missing. You can see one, let's see, right here, right above my head right here. It's actually empty. I have 2 more sitting over there. I'm going to be using them for sump tanks. I'm not going to be using them to hold fish like I was. The tank you see there, let's see, right there. That one there. That one's going to be used to hold shrimp. I'm actually going to be turning that tank 90 degrees. It has 2 tags on it, which are old. It has Neocardania red, which is the actual shrimp. That's the Latin name for the shrimp. It has Cardinia multidenta. Close. Anyways, that is a mono shrimp. I don't have any mono shrimp in that tank. Currently, it has the common name Celestial Pearl Danio. It's a fish that looks like a brown trout, and it's a real small 2-inch long fish that looks like a brown trout, but it's part of the Danio family, which means it can handle cool water just like shrimp can. I'm going to be moving that over with the other Celestial Pearl Danios I have. I have a 29-gallon tank set up specifically for Celestial Pearl Danios, and I have some, what the heck is it called? Dwarf Clown Plecosmus, or Plecos. And I'd love to get them breeding. I don't know, it's a harder fish to get breeding, but I really need to get 2 more. Group of 5 does a better job than 3. You need more males to drive the breeding behavior, and I really need to get something like the tank above it right here, this 40-gallon breeder. That would be more optimal. These dwarf plecos only get about 2 inches long, so they're not very big fish. So they can do it in a 29-gallon tank. It's just they need a different water temperature than the fish that are in the tank. They're also like 5 different colors of brown and extremely hard to catch and see. So yeah, I don't know. First, that's not a great tank if I'm trying to breed them anyways, because I'll never get the babies out, and I'm not sure that I'll ever get those fish out. It was extremely hard to get them out of the 55-gallon tank, which is over here. Anyways, the other 2 10-gallon tanks I have are actually going to go towards a sump tank for the 55-gallon and a sump tank for a 29-gallon tank too. I have 3 29-gallon tanks that are what they call deep gravel beds. One has proper plenum below it, which is a real slow moving water that has maybe 2 or 3 gallons of water probably moved in a day is the goal. I don't know if it's actually that. I've never done any sort of test on that, but I bet it's pretty close to that. It's very slow moving, and those tanks have 0 algae, 0 problems with ammonia and that type of stuff. Also have plants in there. One has a layer of organic potting soil in it, which has made the water a little bit like tan colored. They call that layer tannin. And that's decompensating like organic material, just turns the water brown like tea. And that is completely normal and healthy. They actually believe that has regenerative healing properties for fish that helps with their slime coats and that type of stuff. You're going to get sort of a big slime. This fight is not very awesome. That's why I kind of gave you the stats up front. This was kind of one of those blah fights where I didn't really get anything super cool. I get some paint cans here in a few minutes, but I didn't get anything super incredible. So if you don't want to hear about my fish tanks, then please, I understand. Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Hey, a little less about fish tanks, and I'll see you next video, or just go ahead and skip to the next video. I understand that too. Anyways, so yeah, essentially, I have. My 29-gallon tanks over there have these plenums, and what that is I put lava rock in the bottom. Well, let me start out with my filtration system. So I got one right here. This is a small one. I made it myself. It's got little holes drilled in the bottom right here. That's made out of 1/2-inch PVC pipe. The one I use that in 10 gallons. It was my first one I did, so it was kind of a guess. What I found out is I don't like the 1/2-inch ones because wherever it is, the air stone will not fit inside a 1/2-inch pipe very well. It's an extremely tight fit, or it won't fit at all. So I now go with 3/4 inch or 1-inch piping, depending on how big of a tank I'm dealing with. you need enough for at least water to get around, so it can't be an extremely tight fit, but it doesn't have to be loose. It can touch on one side or whatever and not really affect it, because again, we're not moving that much water. Basically, the air bubbles push water out. When that does, it sucks water through the holes, and that's how that is. It's kind of like, you ever seen those gravel filter systems that they had back in the day? This, but I made it myself. The gravel itself filters it. In my case, around the pipes that keep gravel from getting up into the holes, I put lava rock, and then I put I don't have any of that around me, but the quilt netting you can get made of plastic, I put that on top of the lava rocks, and then on top of that, I put my potting soil or specialized plant soil that you get for aquariums, which is a lot more expensive. The one I use is called Eco Complete. I'm not sponsored by them, so there's no advertisement there. Just the brand I used. It's fairly expensive. It's like $22 a bag. 29-gallon tank takes around 2 bags. So, you know, it can be a little bit expensive. You know, $45 or so for 2 bags. Then I put regular, what they call pool sand on top of it. Pool sand you can buy at any Home Depot, hardware store, local or otherwise, and it's usually fairly expensive. I think I paid $11 for a 50-pound bag. So a 50-pound bag has done 2 different 29-gallon tanks, and the extra went into a 55-gallon tank. So it goes a long ways. And this is with a deep sand bed. I would say my entire sand bed is probably 6 inches deep. But I don't have algae problems. I don't have a lot of these problems. And then if I need extra aeration, then I go ahead and put just an extra air stone in there. You can't really tell it right now because I'm having a little bit of audio problem with my air pumps, which is what you probably hear in the background. But I have bought, or I have invested in, these super snazzy, super quiet, here's the pump. It plugs into a USB. Air pump, again, I'm not sponsored. But it's really cool. You just plug it in, and they're super quiet. I'm going to be fixing the sound, and we'll go from there. Anyways, so I have that, and if I need more, I can just hook up extra air tubes or whatever. But my third tank I have that has a deep sand bed, it doesn't have any of that. It's just gravel and then sand. It was the first one I did, and it has had probably the least plant growth in it. So when I went to Maryland, I went and dumped a whole bunch of she shells along the bottom. I know it's going to make the water a little bit salty, but that's fine. These fish are good with a little bit of brackish water, which is where you have a little bit of salt in your water, and that's just fine for them. I keep in that tank, I have guppies and I have bristlenose plecos. Bristlenose plecos are a larger than dwarf size pleco, but they are not a big pleco either. The biggest bristlenose I've had was about 6 inches long. I've heard that they get to be full 7 inches long on some of the males. None of mine have gotten that big. The ones I have 2 in there in this 29-gallon tank are about 3 inches long at the longest, 2.5, 3 inches long, but they're juvenile, they're still growing. I also have more of the Neocardinia red cherry shrimp that I basically try and breed out in a bunch of stuff, because my local pet store may or may not ever want them, but I could take 1,000 of them to a pet store in a large city and they would buy them. And if they gave you 50 cents a piece, guess what that ends up being? For something that just basically lives in my tank and filters the water anyways. So there's that. Now the tank where the dwarf clown plecos are and the Celestial Pearl Danios. That tank's a little bit different. I need to get those fish out of there, and I'm not sure where I'm going to put them at right this second. I have bristlenose and several of my tanks. I have 5 bristlenose. I don't want to put more than 2 in the same one. I think I have 2 in these little pond troughs down below me here, 27-gallon pond troughs, and I think I have. Well, I think I have 2 of those. Plus, I have 3 Siamese algae eaters, which is a lot of algae-eating fish in one tank. And I used to have zebra loaches, but I got rid of them. I used to have opaline gourami in there too, but I got rid of them. So now it just has mollies in it, and they're crossbred. It's hard to get store-bought in America mollies that are not crossbred. I bought these 2 fish from the same store. They were 2 different colors, but the same species. But you can tell they're not exactly the same species because when they breed, they get weird offshoots. And those weird offshoots are kind of cool. They're different than what you buy in the store because the breeders don't breed them this way. And I've kind of embraced the fact that I want to get rid of the genetic defects that the straight orange ones had. The straight orange ones would get these totally blacked out eyes. They're not supposed to have completely black eyes. That's a genetic defect from too much inbreeding or crossbreeding, or not crossbreeding, but inbreeding. So I'm breeding these with a whole different line of fish from the same species but a different color, hoping to expand that genetic pool so that the fish will lose that, or I can breed out that genetic thing. I've also had some sailfin molly genetics in there from an albino line. So there's a very, very small chance that some of these fish may actually come back albino. I say that because it looked like some of those the babies would come back white, and the albino line was part of a genetic offshoot of the platinum sailfin molly, which is you'd have to Google all these, but essentially some of the fish are coming up with what they call gold dust mollies, but they're a crossbred to get there. They're not the same thing. And some of them are coming up regular gold and black mollies, short fin. And then I'm getting a random throw out of sailfin molly. Now, going more into my other fish, I have 2 tanks of genetically pure strain guppies. I have yellowtail delta guppies, which are, you can buy them any Petco, PetSmart, whatever. They're just a genetically yellow fish with like the cobra stripe or cobra pattern on the tail. Pretty fish, stock. You know, this is what it is, and you know, a lot of people, like when they think guppy, they think that's a pretty guppy. On the more risky side of things, I happen to get some guppies that originated from Vienna, if I'm not mistaken, which there's different species within the guppy thing. Many of them are crossbred with Goodyear's not the right word. Just having a brain fart. I can't remember the name of the fish. Man, there's the Japanese blue. What's it? It's going to drive me crazy. Let me take a look real quick. Where's my phone? Oh, it's part of the. It's not even part of the guppy family, even though they can breed. That's a whole different topic, though. Japanese blue fish. What is it called? No, I'm getting into food fish. Inler. Good Lord, I cannot remember that name. Inler. So Endlers and mollies, Endlers and guppies can breed. Mollies and guppies can breed. Platies and swordtails can breed, but swordtails or platies cannot breed with any of the other three. They're different genus or whatever you want to say, and they're not able to breed. But whenever you create a guppy molly crossbreed, they're called muppies or muppies or something or other. There's another way of saying that, those two words together. Gollies or muppies is what people are calling them. Anyways, they're like a donkey or a mule. They're sterile. They are unable to breed. Some people say they breed, but no one's been able to breed. And they're a freaky looking fish because they have the big sail fin type thing, and they're on the guppy body, so it looks kind of ridiculous. Alright, so down to my last tank, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. Now I got more tanks. I think we'll leave it there for now, and I'll talk about the other fish I have maybe in a different video. I've got a bunch of videos I want to get out, and maybe I'll do that a little bit in my next one. But we'll see. Okay guys, I want to talk real quickly about the ending stat card and everything like that, what the breakdown is. I was working hard trying to keep track of the dates and everything, and eventually I'm going to stop that, and I'm actually going to keep track of how quickly my Bukin goes up in levels. That's going to be in a couple more videos, just a little forewarning. I do shoot these videos up ahead, so you'll understand why I would say that now. You can see now I'm almost out of almost in the 12,000 skill points. I'm starting to get a lot. I get a little over 300 for every 15 PED hunt. This is not a huge hunt. This is a lot of skills I gained, and I'm wondering if that's why I'm, will be right about 3.6 PED down, which would be 2 days of doing the Milo mission. Certainly not anything to overly complain about. Of course, big winners on this are inflict melee damage, heavy weapon, melee combat. But surprisingly, the non-melee stuff, perception was a big winner with 24 points, and agility, anatomy went up by 36 points, which is usually that's pretty good with rifle too. You'll notice that my bravado went up and my clubs went up, of course, because that's going to be the big one for that. So, of the immediately identifiable skills that melee has, at least with a two-handed club, you have perception, you have strength, of course, because I gained 2 points of strength. I'm already up to 21 now. Perception, those are all ones that you would not necessarily think. You would hope that evade goes up, but I think you actually have to evade to get evade type of thing. I am fighting lower level creatures. I probably am sort of getting close to being capped out on that. Though I'm going to get more as I do sweating and that type of stuff. As you can see, my loot, really not anything great. About 8 PED of ammo. I run about 50%, a little more than that, 55-60%. I did get a decent amount of ammo oil residue, but I usually do well in either ammo oil residue or ammo muscle oil. One of those two I tend to do very well in. Occasionally I'll do well in hides, but not this time. This one here I actually got a lot of female Monura hides compared to what I normally get, and everything else was pretty mundane and blah. I did get one paint can, so yay. Anyways, if you want to see more videos like this, sorry for the down note, let me know. Please subscribe, look for other videos. Believe me, they're going to be more enthusiastic and awesome than this one is, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Let me know in the comments. I answer 100% of my comments what you guys think. Thank you. I appreciate it, and have a great day.